All right, folks, welcome back. This is Yankees Unloaded. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. He is Gary Sheffield Jr. This is powered by Prize Picks, and we come to you live after the Yankees win 11-3 over the Orioles. A game that, well, I thought was, to be honest with you, before we went live, I thought it was the last game of the series. I am now getting word from our producer, cough cough us, that it is not that. It is actually a 4-game series. So we're going to have another game tomorrow, which is fine by me. Yankees are off and running. They're up 3-0 in the series. So they already won it. That's nice. But today was interesting, Gary, because, the Yankees started off they started off great. Anytime you leave the yard, Ben Rice, but then all of a sudden Ben Rice goes down with an injury. We'll talk about that later in the show. Try to keep it somewhat positive here, especially because it doesn't look like it's going to be a long-term thing. They punch back in the third inning. Judge ends up hitting a home run. And so basically, it wasn't until really the sixth inning where the Yankees were able to punch back, take the lead, and then Jason Dominguez pretty much won them the game on that 2-run shot. So
took over.
It was all she wrote after that. They just really didn't respond. So yeah, Gary, I feel really good about this win. I feel really good about this series. And I'm excited to talk about it. We got a loaded show for you guys. Shocker, because we're Yankees Unloaded. Loaded show for you guys. Starting off, we're going to talk about Anthony Volpe, who is being optioned to AAA. For those of you who don't understand what that means, it basically means that what Gary and I talked about in our last episode happened. Anthony Volpe is not coming up to the big leagues. They're basically telling us this is not he needs more time. They're telling us that they have decided, at least for the time being, that Anthony Volpe is not going to be a part of this 26-man roster, even though he is back and healthy. So that's really interesting. This might be the greatest thing ever for Anthony Volpe. So, let's forget about how that affects right now, but it also might be perfect for him down the road.
Agreed.
But regardless of that, because we'll talk about that, we have plenty of stuff in this show. We're going to talk about Jason Dominguez and how today was kind of his coming out party for the season in the MLB. We're going to talk about Ben Rice's injury. We're going to talk about Spencer Jones just tearing it up now in AAA. And we're going to have some fun with this thing. But Gary, let's start off. Anthony Volpe, what was your immediate reaction when you saw he is being optioned to AAA?
When I first saw the news, my first thought was, I wish they didn't listen to us out of spring training. Because when we watched, and this is now a few years ago, obviously majority of us saw that, and he set it off in the spring. And Jake, I told you this spring, I said, I don't care what LaGrange does in spring training. I don't care, right? What Ryan Weathers does, getting lit up like a Christmas tree. I don't give a rat's behind. Doesn't matter to me because spring training is just a rev up process for the physical part of the game. Ultimately, you can't figure out where somebody is developmentally in spring training. I'm completely sold on that being the truth now. But Anthony Volpe sets it off in spring training. He had never hit in the minor leagues, where Jake, you and I were like, oh, this guy's got to launch up to the next level, the way that we covered Spencer Jones. Because last year, Spencer Jones was putting up elite numbers, obviously deals with the back and then had somewhat of a regression. But now you look at this year and you're like, oh, I see some positive play where I can actually justify bringing him up here. But Jake, Anthony Volpe really hadn't played good baseball at any point outside of 1 month out of, we're talking about 3 full seasons for the Yankees. Goes into arbitration, deals with a shoulder injury that requires surgery. It wasn't the best way to get Volpe up to the big league level. I understood we had a lot invested in him, but it felt like just we didn't have a return, and we just kept sending him out there on the field until we forced a return, rather than doing something that might have been considered a little bit more conservative at the time. The Yankees went on the side of aggressiveness with Volpe, And I don't want to just scapegoat the Yankees as being fully responsible for what happened to Volpe, because he very well just might not be that great at baseball. But the fact of the matter is, he didn't show us he was ready to burst out of the minor leagues. And we brought him here anyways. And yet we sit here 3 years down the road, and he now sits. He goes on his 13 game rehab assignment. We're happy to see him healthy, get out onto the field. Always good to see players healthy. He's hit 1 home run, right? We're not staring at the stats, but his ops is 624. And yes, there's people in our live chat that said before the show, this is technically true. If he stays out in the minor leagues 20 more days officially, the Yankees will receive another year of service time that maybe people are like, I don't want another year of control of Anthony Volpe. But you know who does, Jake? A team willing to take a flyer on Volpe in a trade. That's who. So whether you think Volpe will be part of this team in the near future or next year at second base, wherever you think, or if he's going to be traded, having another year of control makes a player objectively more valuable. So this is probably, as you put it, the best thing for him personally. He's not ready to play shortstop for the New York Yankees. Full stop. Now what do we do about it? We send you to the minor leagues, and then when you show us evidence that you can be part of a competition with Jose Caballero, or even take someone's position, Jazz, you slide him over to third base, maybe Ryan McMahon's not playing well, we can justify you over at second base. But Jake, this is probably the best thing for him to know. I've got to earn a spot again, and if I'm there again, that means I've done that. So good spot to be, actually. I know it never feels good to be sent down to the minor leagues, probably a bummer, but was it really the best thing for his personal development or this team? For a team that's red hot and you just show up, it's like, hey, remember me? It's like, I was trying not to.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think the thing is, I mean, the Yankees have this tough love approach that we haven't seen. And I want to make this very clear. Typically, when they call a guy up, he never sees AAA again. It just doesn't really happen, right?
That's right.
And I mean a guy. I'm not talking about Yerry De Los Santos. I'm talking about a guy. Like, I'm talking about, Florial. I'm talking about, Peraza. I'm talking about Cabrera. I'm talking about Andujar, Clint Frazier. They've called up a guy that they really like. They don't see AAA. They broke this past year. This literal year with Jason Dominguez, with Luis Gil. Luis Gil is a Rookie of the Year winner. And he is in AAA right now. They didn't hesitate. He was optioned right after his start. And the start before that, he was great. So, I like this approach. This is Yankees baseball. This is the Yankees actually. I'm going to give him some credit here, Gary. This is the Yankees saying, we're no nonsense. We're not going to have players. I mean, they DFA'd Grichuk, right? I mean, I know having Max Schumann kind of defeats that purpose, but let's just ignore that for a second, right? Calling up Jason Dominguez, keeping Anthony Volpe in AAA. I find it so fascinating because, Gary, you might have forgotten this. When they acquired Jose Caballero, do you remember what Jack Curry said?
I don't.
He's got a lot of control, and he's got options. So, worst comes to worst, they can just slide him on down to AAA. Now, think about this. Would you ever send Caballero down to AAA? No, right? Not at all.
Of course not. Well, especially the way he's playing. No.
Yeah. So this is a far cry from what we've expected and what we've seen from the Yankees. This is they're turning over a new leaf. We saw it with Jason Dominguez. Didn't really agree with it, but also kind of tried to understand it. This Volpe thing, that could not have been easy because we have a GM that has the biggest ego you've ever seen. And in a way, he's kind of admitting, like, I might have gotten this one wrong.
Why do you think it happened, though? Because we're all admitting Volpe's not good enough at baseball. You can argue that he could be on the roster, and then if Caballero goes down physically where he can't play, now you can throw Volpe maybe at second base, and you kind of shift it around. Ryan McMahon's played shortstop before, although the defense it wasn't good today. But the point is, Anthony Volpe clearly isn't starter ready. Clearly, it's not even a conversation at this point. And yet the Yankees were actually asked the question, hey, what are you going to do when he's physically ready? And it was a report. Like Yes Network, right? Yankees videos on Twitter. We had to make reports. Say, hey, guys, did you know that Anthony Volpe is actually going to be optioned to AAA? And it was a news cycle. That tells you that the expectation was for him to do his rehab assignment and then just come up to the big leagues. Like he was a veteran. But that was just due to service time and how long he's been here. He's still, in my eyes, a prospect that needs to develop. That's what it is. He hasn't developed. He's honestly like one of those kids that lifted weights in junior high, and then you're like, oh, yeah, I came back to him, and he's still 5'4", and they stunted his growth, right? Took human growth hormone. That's what this is. Anthony Volpe, in my eyes, Jake, and this is just my opinion. No one has to agree with it. I believe Anthony Volpe would have been a much better player and much better served personally if he just didn't get called up to the big leagues when he got called up to the big leagues. That's my opinion. Anthony Volpe, in my eyes, if he plays the game the right way, he's hitting line drives, he's using all fields, he's using his glove, which obviously is a strength, he's actually a good baseball player. Here's the problem. He doesn't know how to use that on a day-to-day basis, which by definition makes him a bad baseball player. That's poor development. That's somebody mentally that doesn't know who they are, and we've had the same conversation about Jazz Chisholm, one of the most talented players on our roster, and yet you're like, hold on a second, does he remember who he is? He's a 70% swing guy. Like, this should be 70%. Like, why is this guy... Percent. Yeah, so if you're going to swing 70%, why would you be swinging 100% for half the year and tell me, oh, when it heats up, right? You need to figure out who you are, and that's how we figure out if you're a good baseball player. So, yeah, it's one of those situations where the Yankees seem to be operating like the Yankees of old, as you've mentioned. My question to you, Jake, is why now? Aaron Judge is 34. This is a win-now season. You can maybe point to that. Why would Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone, everyone together, this entire network, why this year are they deciding, oh, that guy, he might need more time, we're going to give him more time? They're not, it doesn't seem like they're putting their eggs all in one basket and then just dying on the sword the way that they would have, right? Being stubborn. They seem to actually be looking at just clear decisions that we're all seeing and actually making quick decisions with it. Why now? That's my question.
It honestly makes their idea of running it back, which they'll tell you they're not doing, but they're absolutely doing, actually makes it seem more of a sound decision, right? Makes it seem like they might have known what they were doing. And obviously, like, if they really believe, like, Trent Grisham was not a one-year wonder and he's going to turn around, and I don't know. I don't like watching him, I can tell you that much. But if...
That is a fact. You don't...
Yeah.
Not like watching Trent Grisham.
You don't either, so there's that. But I mean...
I'm lukewarm.
Yeah. But, I mean, you see what I'm saying, though? Like, if Trent Grisham goes back to what he was doing last year, they start to look really smart. I want to bring up... I don't want to leave the Volpe topic. I want to kind of add on to it. So, our buddy, Jim Bowden, on MLB Radio, said, quote, Lombard is going to be the Yankees' third baseman second half of the season, end quote. Here's my thing, okay? This isn't necessarily me saying Volpe can't establish himself in AAA, build himself, because he was barely in AAA. Let's give the guy some grace for there. They kind of hurried him up. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that Lombard Jr. is just miles ahead of Anthony Volpe.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tool thing, right? Like, come on.
He's so far ahead of him tools-wise.
He is, yes.
So, you see this quote from Jim Bowden, and, you really start to think, I mean, I know Ryan McMahon, and you put in the thing. He's finally at 200 batting average. Yay.
Oh, you like that? You like that touch?
I did.
I did the ticker, I guess.
But here's the thing, right? So, I actually look at it like the Yankees might be looking at this as an experiment. They get to see, for the foreseeable future, Lombard Jr. next to Anthony Volpe, who they already know is a starting caliber player because he started plenty of games for them. I honestly wonder if they're kind of looking at this in a multitude of ways, where one, this is best for our MLB roster because Caballero stays and doesn't have to worry, doesn't have to look over his shoulder. This is your job. Two, Volpe, because now you're thinking, well, if we keep him marinating in AAA and he gets the actual attention to detail, and honestly, I'm not convinced that the AAA, AA, single A hitting coaches aren't better than the hitting coach in the MLB right now. Like all of the prospects are hitting. They're all developing. Mm-hmm. I feel like there is something to be said about the minor league system and how well that they have developed these guys. So that's another thing. But the other thing, the third thing, the big thing, is George Lombard Jr. And the longer he stays on the same roster as Volpe, because keep in mind, it hasn't been that long. Now, because, mind you, Volpe was in AA. He had the rehab assignment, worked with Lombard. Now he's in AAA. Lombard was just called up. You get to see those two together. You get to see, it's easier, right? Because now you're not sitting there comparing MLB to AAA. You're comparing a guy that has played, 1,500 at bats or whatever.
Yeah, it's a lot. He's been around at this point.
So you see what I'm saying? Like, I also see that angle of it, where now it's like, oh, Lombard Jr. is just really freaking good. Like you're watching him, you're watching his at bat after you're watching Volpe's, and you're like, Volpe has 1,500 at bats in the MLB. It's like Lombard Jr.'s never been in the MLB.
That's right.
It's like maybe he's not that far away, right? Maybe he's. Yeah. And here's another thing. The last thing I'll say about this, kind of tie it up into a bow. I'm hoping this is going to stop them from any sort of, and again, it's all been speculation, but any sort of hesitation based on Anthony Volpe. That is my hope. That they'll be like, you know what, George Lombard Jr. is a different animal, completely different. He is a much better prospect. Fielding, the hitting starting to come together, the power's starting to come together. I don't know if you saw, he scored from first base on a dribbler through the shortstop. Like, what are we doing? Like, this guy,
yeah.
I have no doubt in my mind, no doubt, because I saw it in the comment section. I didn't highlight it, but I saw it. Trade Lombard. He's untouchable for me, Gary. I'm not moving him. He's going to be a part of the foreseeable future. He's 20 years old. This is one of those guys, you look at the Connor Griffins of the world, this is one of those guys. And I think that he's being slept on. I think he's underrated by Baseball America, by MLB Pipeline. And I think we're all going to look back and be like, wow, we went back and forth to teeter-totter because of his hitting, right? He wasn't there. But now he's so comfortable, so confident at the dish. This is not hard. Don't overthink this. He has to be untouchable. He can't be traded. And the reason I say that is because who are you actually going to be able to acquire for this team that you can say without a doubt is worth getting rid of a 20-year-old Lombard Jr. that is arguably your best option at third base and shortstop in the big leagues right now?
Yeah, I think that's probably your best case, is saying that right now you could just slot him in at third base when he's ready offensively. Like, you could say 2 months from now, oh yeah, hey, you can see he's raking in AAA. Yeah. You could play third base over McMahon. That's your best case. But as far as prospects, I actually don't think any prospect for the most part, outside of, I'm talking blue chip guys, right? Like Paul Skeens. He goes into the minor leagues. It's a pit stop. He leaves, right? Those are untouchables. I don't think anybody's untouchable for the same reason I thought the Padres were making a good move by trading the number 3 prospect in all of the sport, right? And this was not an underrated player. This was a player who was properly rated and everyone thought he was great. And they were like, yeah, you can have him, right? You can send him to Vegas whenever the stadium's ready. We'll take Mason Miller. Everyone freaked out about the value, and the Padres said, we'll take the best closer the game's seen since probably Mariano. But having said this, because back to your point about George Lombard Jr. standing next to Anthony Volpe, what people are going to realize is that Anthony Volpe I'm going to say it like this. George Lombard Jr. is a Rolls Royce. He's a Phantom. Okay. Anthony Volpe is a Chrysler 300. If you pull up to a Chrysler 300, you say that's actually a pretty nice car. It's not that bad. And for those of you who know this vehicle, you'd say, oh yeah, nice little car there, especially when it's in pearl white. Right? It looks nice. But when you see a Phantom, you realize, oh, this is a $450,000 car. There's levels to this, right? And this really goes to show you the difference in tools. When you saw that play, and Jake, me and you were laughing about it off air, and they were like, oh, backhand to Anthony Volpe, and he throws the ball to first base, and we don't mean to make fun of it.
He fires it over there.
And it was so milked, saying that he was firing the ball over to first base. The ball practically almost stopped for breakfast before it got to the first baseman. Meanwhile, the player that is arguably going to be a 5-tool asset in the infield turns around, and the ball practically explodes through the first baseman's chest. That's what you're looking for. And mind you, we've seen this before in the big leagues. Like, it's not like we just started watching baseball yesterday. You see it from guys like Carlos Correa, right? Guys like Rafael Furcal back in the day, right? Andrelton Simmons. The ball is snapping to the first baseman's glove. That's a tool. And that's what the Yankees are looking for. And if you want to say that a player is a player of the future, he has to have tools that you need to figure out how to put it together. That's what you're doing. And I would say the difference between Anthony Volpe and George Lombard Jr., you can just make an easy observation that the difference in tools is just massive. It's not close. So the Yankees right now have to figure out, do we operate more timid with George Lombard Jr. and wait for the call-up because of how aggressive we were on Volpe? Or do we acknowledge that they're two different people, and maybe doing it the exact same way yields different results? No one knows the perfect way to do this. And the Yankees ultimately are going to make that decision. But, Jake, as you put it, there's an easy case, that the Yankees can say, let's call this kid up before the end of the year, because we might have a hole here in the infield dirt that could be filled right now. With Jose Caballero playing well, this infield gets pretty good very quickly if Jazz Chisholm turns it around. So you can see the potential of the roster. And I want to welcome, by the way, Dre, welcome to Yankees Unloaded membership, my man. We really appreciate it. Yeah, really appreciate that. I'm trying to figure out where our first super is. I cannot figure it out for the life of me. I think
that's diamond level, by the way.
Dre,
so big dubs in the chat.
There are instructions, Jake. You're gonna have to fill in here on the instructions for the voicemail, because now, Dre, you're able to leave voicemails for our post game show. In the last game of every series, we do voicemail, so we appreciate you being here, of course. And Jake, do you have any idea?
Yeah, is it? What were you saying?
Who's the first super chat?
It's Ninja Hot Dog. Before we get into that, though, Dre, so on our page, our YouTube page, after this, you're gonna want to go there. Anyone who is a diamond level member is going to see the voicemail thing, and I can tell you exactly where it is. So basically what you're going to do is, and this is for anybody, by the way, that is a diamond level member, wants to leave a voicemail but doesn't know the actual number, you're going to go to posts, and you can see the membership posts that'll be right there. So actually, you'll just go to membership. So you go to membership, you go to posts, and you can see the voicemail number is right there. It was posted 8 months ago, and it's pinned. So there you go.
Beautiful. And Guy reminds you guys, make sure you subscribe and like the video as well.
Last thing, by the way, I saw in the comment section, I thought this was a great point. It's kind of something I was also thinking of. You know, here's an analogy that's going to piss off people that hate when we bring up the NFL, but I think this is perfect. Lombard Jr., if he's as good as we believe him to be, he's going to be so cheap, so cost effective, and the most bang for your buck imaginable at 20, right?
Right.
He's also going to get paid out the wazoo like Soto. So that's something to keep in mind too. But here's the thing, if he hits. Here's the thing, though. I look back at the Rams of Jared Goff in 2018, and they had him on a rookie deal. And when they had him on a rookie deal, they went out and got Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib and signed Ndamukong Suh and signed this guy and signed that guy. They didn't care, right? That was with a salary cap. This isn't even baseball we're talking about. So
right.
How were they able to do that? Because you have a rookie contract
Yes.
at the most important position in the sport. And typically that position you're going to pay $40 to $50 million a year. So Lombard Jr. playing a premium third base, because that's what he would do. He'd be a third baseman right off the rip. Maybe he goes to shortstop after Caballero. I don't know. But he would be the third baseman. I believe Jim Bowden's right on the money, by the way. He's not just saying that.
Do you feel like he has some intel that suggests that? Because, by the way, who do you think the best shortstop in the game is? Just
the best shortstop in the game. It's funny because it looked like it was going to be Gunnar Henderson, but it's not even close, by the way. I think it is Bobby Witt Jr., and there are like 4 slots to second place. Like, I think it's perfect. Bobby Witt Jr. is on the same level as, like, and I'm not saying he is Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani. I think he's the third best hitter in baseball.
I agree 100%.
Position
I think he's
player.
The third best player positionally in the world. Now, having said this, in February of 2024, Bobby Witt Jr. signed an 11-year, $288.7 million contract. Jake, if he hit free agency, do you think he signs for that?
No.
Now, what did the Royals wait for? They waited for Witt Jr. to prove. They didn't do, right, what Pittsburgh did with Connor Griffin, where they said, hey, even before you see a pitch in the big leagues, we're going to sign you to a contract, and you're going to get a shoe deal. They didn't do all that in Kansas City. But what they did do is, by the time we realize, oh, Bobby Witt Jr. is him. This is it, like when a player doesn't materialize, they're like, what do you think he was going to be? Bobby Witt Jr.? That's how good Bobby Witt is. That's how good he is. Now, having said it, if George Lombard Jr. hits, Brian Cashman's in a very unique situation because with the collective bargaining agreement coming up, Cashman has a decision to make. Do I offer an early extension for a player if he proves to me he can play in New York as a top prospect in baseball? They did this, and keep in mind, didn't work out. It didn't. But because this was with a veteran, they did this with Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks went out there, had a solid 2017 season with the Yankees, and Cashman said, I'm going to sign this guy early before free agency, and I'm also going to get him at a 7-year deal. If he produces like he did in 2017 for the next 7 years, I get a steal. Well, same premise here. Your top prospect now has an opportunity to come up, prove he's actually worth the damn. And if he does, you can give him that big extension where we might have one of the best players on our roster 5-6 years from now. And you know, Jake, I hate talking about the future because there's nothing more important than the now. And that's technically true. But if the Yankees have a player who's a top 2, top 3, top 4 player on the whole roster at the most important position in shortstop, and he's making $18 million a year and not 48, the Yankees have an opportunity to win much faster than what a lot of people are going to give him credit for. So a lot of this is going to be dictated by how much, as you put it, George Lombard Jr. hits. If he gets to third base, we know the glove's there. That is a set in stone part of his game, just like it was for Ryan McMahon. But the bat is going to be the biggest tool that has to show itself at the big league level, right? Peraza, hitting the minor leagues at all levels, gets to us with our hitting staff, didn't put it together, goes to Anaheim, puts it together right away. We need to make sure this works. And I want to put a major emphasis on it because if they get George Lombard Jr. hitting, major emphasis, I say it every night now. If George Lombard Jr. hits, the Yankees have an easy out to some of these situations going on in the infield with Jazz. For example, if Jazz leaves, no problem. You can throw, whether it's Anthony Volpe, if it's Caballero, you want to move him to second base and put George Lombard Jr. at shortstop, the team gets so much better overnight. So, yeah, a lot of exciting stuff in the now. I mean, we're 23-11, and the future, what we've got going on in the system. And Jake, did we want to talk Jason Dominguez next year? Because I want to put my hand.
No, we can, but I wanted to hit on the other point with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Absolutely.
So, like, with the whole golf thing, right? They were able to now spend all that money. That's where I push back on the whole, no, you got to trade Lombard. It is a failure if you don't trade him because you need to maximize Aaron Judge. I would push back and say this. The Yankees have this self-imposed cap. We know about this. If George Lombard Jr. is the third baseman, that sure gives them a lot of leeway, right? And the reason I say that is you're now playing with the best rotation in baseball, stacked on stacked on stacked. Like it is crazy. And you have other prospects as well. I mean, you could trade Spencer Jones. I would personally want to keep him. I think he should be called up too, as you know. But the point being is that the Yankees have so much ammo in that farm system, the pitching, all of those prospects. And it's like you could trade LeGrande and choose to keep ERC, or you could trade ERC and choose to keep LeGrande, or you could trade them both because you feel so good about where you're at long term, or even in the short term, that you feel like you need to. But this is how you're able to do that. You get Lombard Jr., and now you could take on kind of an expensive deal. And what I mean by this, and I'm not saying it would be like Mike Trout, for instance, but Mike Trout wouldn't really be affordable, right? That would be like a thing, like we've talked about that, right? He wouldn't be affordable. He'd be a lot of money. But now all of a sudden, you could justify it, or a player like that, who's going to give you that star-driven talent, and if he stays healthy with that fat contract, you can keep that because now Lombard Jr. is making pennies on the dollar at a premium position. And Gary, I know Peraza was playing third last year. He would be the cheapest, not including Peraza, he'd be the cheapest player at third we've had in years. Because you think about it, Headley, Donaldson, McMahon, I mean, LeMahieu. Like that's a lot of money being just dished out, and it's a premium position like we've talked about. If you have Lombard Jr. there, I mean, it really it changes the math for you, essentially. Yeah. So you can't go out
drafting the quarterback, because everyone always says, they're like, what do we do at quarterback in the NFL? It's the attractiveness of redrafting a quarterback, because if it works, right, and the Falcons, for example, they bring in a big-time quarterback. I mean, you're talking about Kirk Cousins. They overpaid on him, right? Gave him a ton of money. They also drafted a quarterback and reached on him. Why? Well, they did that because if it works for him and he gets out there on the field, they can trade Cousins, right? They can get rid of some of these players, and now you have a player at the most premium position on the field in football, and you don't have to worry about that position and paying big money. Now you get a chance to pay big money elsewhere, right? So it almost seems like in the NFL, ideally, you want an elite quarterback at the beginning of his career, year 1 or 2, and you just give it a go right then and there. But that's the situation that the Yankees find themselves in right now. So I hope it works out with Lombard Jr. I never call players untouchable, but Jake, I think the point you bring up about our self-imposed cap makes a lot of sense, because us finding ways to be cheaper and still elite at a position ends up allowing us to be a little bit more irresponsible in other locations. If all of a sudden you see a starting pitcher, historically great, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, right? And you're talking about Tarek Skubal. If he goes into the free agency market, you could easily say, well, the Yankees don't really have a need in their rotation. But the Yankees can say, oh, yeah, but we've got this star over here at third base. We've got Caballero. We've actually got a good infield. Our outfield's pretty set, right? Judge, Bellinger, they can just do stuff out of luxury, right? The same way that the Dodgers do, except it's going to be a little bit different because the Dodgers don't have to hit on that prospect. It seems like the way we're building, we do. So it's an interesting way to suggest that the Yankees have to play it this way. But Jake, it does feel like that's kind of where it's headed. But I want to discuss what's going on right now with Jason Dominguez, because I want to put my hand up now. And I don't know if you want to say it's too early. If you think it's too early, that's absolutely fine. But the first thing I paid attention to this offseason was that Dominguez wasn't hitting right-handed, right? And they were talking about that in winter ball. He's going out to winter ball. I mentioned I love that. I understand that there's injury risk, but this is a player that I identified early. I'm not a finished product. I need to develop somewhere. It's better for me to develop and risk injury than for me to just sit around under bubble wrap and not develop at all. Love that he did that. and goes out there, gets the reps, comes to spring training, hits right-handed, gets sent down to AAA. Jake, he hit the entire time he was down there, left and right-handed, against good pitching, against veterans on rehab assignment. Didn't matter at all. Just put it together. Gets called up due to injury with Jason Dominguez. And he shows up today with two massive, and they weren't dinkers and dunkers, lasers down the left field line with the right-handed helicopter swing that I absolutely hate to see, because he
was doing it with the lefty too.
He was doing it with the lefty. That home run was the weirdest swing you've seen. It was a breaking ball away, and the dude just pulled it, and it was almost the cliche of what everyone thinks Yankee Stadium home runs always are, right? Yeah. Breaking ball away, and he just ass out, flips the ball to right field. But Jason Dominguez, in my opinion, proved me wrong. I want to know what you think. I think he proved me wrong that he can't hit right-handed, and that the full everyday swings lefty, because I said he should just switch to a full-time lefty.
Yeah,
he's
I did
proving
too.
that he can hit switch. What do we do right now with Jason Dominguez? Because Giancarlo Stanton will be back at some point. Do the Yankees just say, "Oh, this is a good problem to have," and he'll just be on the roster and trading
That's
off?
probably what they'll do. But
right.
I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that, because I just said that I'm acknowledging that they're trying to be different, right? With the Volpe thing. Because what would they normally do? Volpe would come up, Caballero would now be the good problem to have. That's what would happen.
Correct. So technically the new good problem to have would be calling up Jason Dominguez while Stanton's out. Dominguez sets it off just the way he's doing right now. Trent Grisham isn't playing great. He played really good yesterday.
He's
but his
not
total
homegrown.
numbers,
they didn't draft him in the first round.
Right.
This becomes interesting for sure.
The new move where it's like, oh, they're moving like the Yankees again. It's clear as day, right? Clear as day.
Yeah.
Is to compare the output between Grisham and Dominguez and just let the chips fall where they may. And that would be if Jason Dominguez 2-3 weeks from now is setting it off still. That would be Jason Dominguez just saying, "Hey, go ahead and grab your glove here in center field. Hey, buddy, you're going to center field." And they're like,
I actually, Gary,
okay.
I'm going to say this now. If Trent Grisham doesn't seriously turn it around, and I mean, he really needs to have a great May. If at the end of May, his average is still below 170, and Jason Dominguez hits like he did today, or like anywhere near today, right? I think Jason Dominguez is going to be in left field. Bellinger will be in center. Judge will be in right. Stanton will be at DH. And I think Grisham's just kind of shit out of luck. Because, I mean, think about it. I know $22 million, it sounds bad. They have an out. They do have an out. They can trade him at once. I mean, the deadline, essentially, they'll be able to trade him at. I honestly think think about it. You have to take all of the moves into account, because this is like a big spider web. Everything goes together. So, for instance, if they're willing to bench Volpe, who's 24, right? Who they drafted in the first round.
By the way,
he's making money. Yes, he now arbitration, all of that. Yes. They're willing to bench him when they've gone out on a limb and defended again, for him, tooth and nail. They are willing to bench him. And not only just bench him, keep him in AAA. Why wouldn't they be able to put Grisham on the pine if he's struggling? Because here's the thing. It's not about him struggling. It's about them having a better option. And it's not the Spencer Jones effect. That,
because technically, to a lot of people, this includes Yankees fans. And I don't care, honestly, which side of the coin you're on. Ultimately, we all are entitled to our opinion. If you think, oh, well, the expected numbers, Grisham's hitting to a lot of bad luck, that's fine by me. Like, it doesn't bother me that that's the take. Well, there is going to be a window where you say, okay, well, a month from now, Jason Dominguez probably will still be on the big league roster. If Dominguez is hitting 280, he's giving us speed. He's giving us contact. He's giving us power the way we saw it today. He's leaving the yard. Well, you can just say, hey, Grisham is not that bad. Like the expected numbers, we thought it would be a lot better. He's hitting the ball hard. He's walking a lot in front of Judge. And that's all valuable stuff. But we've got a better option over here. that still calls for Grisham to lose his job, by the way. So that's not a negative. That's just a, hey, there's a bigger positive around the corner.
That's why they're not calling up they're not calling up Spencer Jones, because it's projection. I mean, there's other reasons why, and I think it's stupid, but there's projection there, right?
Right.
Dominguez, there's not projection if this scenario works out. And even if Jason Dominguez just hits like he did last year, that's good enough to keep, in my opinion, to keep Grisham on the pine. I don't need to see Dominguez take the next step for me to say he's the better option than Trent Grisham. And I'm okay. I'll live with his woes in left field. I mean, I would play him in center, but I know they won't. I am willing to live with his woes in left field because I am all about the offense. And you know
I
why?
would say it probably
Here's
is a
why.
little bit better to get him in left field still, right? You don't really want Dominguez taking off towards Judge. He's kind of been out of position for a while. I just don't love it. But what were you going to say there?
Well, so, all right. So what I was going to say was, I'm totally blanking.
I figured as much. That's on me.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Yeah, I don't remember, but I thought it came to me, and it's just like, yeah. No, so Dominguez.
No worries. 500 people were just waiting to hear what you had to say there.
I know,
and I totally
really excited.
Butchered it. I looked at the super chats. I was like, "Oh, Ninja Hot Dog." So, anyways, if you get it back, we'll give you the floor.
Yeah, but anyway,
Ninja Hot Dog.
I feel really good about the position they're in, and I think today is a day of celebration, not because of Anthony Volpe like losing his job essentially, but it's more so what comes with it. The statement that was made today, and it also doesn't have to be the end of Anthony Volpe. It's just a sign that this favoritism is somewhat going out the window, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the coach's son. Like if the coach's son is starting shortstop every single day and he's just not playing well, and then all of a sudden you see the coach's son get sat on a Saturday night in the big game with everybody there, you're like, oh, hold on a second.
Oh, I remember.
Coach is actually evaluating his son now. What's up?
Yeah, I remembered. Yeah, so I don't give a rip about defense when I have the best pitching rotation. And the reason why is if I have Max Fried, if I have Garrett Cole, if I have Cam Schlittler and Will Warren and, I almost said Carl Weathers, Ryan Weathers. The point being, right, if I have all those guys and they have a combined 2.70 ERA without Cole and Rodon, I might mention, best in the league, why do I care about defense when they're barely even giving up contact? They've been so dominant.
Right.
I need them, if anything, I need run support. When I need defense the most is when I'm like, guy's kind of iffy. He's going to give up 4 runs. You got to make sure that guy's not scoring from first or whatever. I'm not saying defense doesn't matter, but I'm saying if I have to choose between a 255 hitter who is a defensive liability, or a 162 hitter who's a little bit below average defensively.
This is so personal to Trent Grisham. It's not even funny.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
I'm going to go with the guy.
We're using Trent Grisham here. This is player B. That was Trent Grisham.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course it was, right? Because Jason Dominguez hit 255 last year. So the way I see it is that I'm getting a player who's more athletic, who's a better contact hitter.
Yes.
And he's younger, and he's homegrown, and that stuff might not really matter to you, but it does matter to me. Because if I'm going to go to bat for somebody, I want to bat for somebody that came up through my system, right?
Sure.
I don't care about how much was paid to who. Cody Bellinger, I don't care that he didn't come up through the system. I don't care that they paid him a lot of money. He is a 5-tool player. I say this all the time.
Right.
And he is. Trent Grisham's not a 5-tool player. He doesn't get that type of treatment. Like, Garrett Cole he was drafted by the Yankees, but he didn't come up through the Yankees farm system. So, like, for that reason, like, you would think, okay, like, Garrett Cole doesn't get any sort of special treatment. He does. Why? Because he's Garrett Cole. Trent Grisham doesn't get that special treatment from me. That's the difference. So, again,
you earn your special treatment based on play, and ultimately, I completely understand. I get it. Ninja Hot Dog, thank you for the 5. Says series win for real this time. Also, adios Volpe. Great news for the infield. Hoping we'll soon have Lombard, Cabby, and Rosario all in the infield cooking up. Rosario is on ice right now. I
It's
think
tough.
that
I
the
hate
Yankees, it's a tough situation. I understand why, Jake, you don't love it. I'm understanding of why the Yankees are doing it because they're trying to get an output and trying to, especially while the team's hot, trying to get the most out of Ryan McMahon. And I'm not sure. I want to give him credit today offensively. He hit pretty well today. I actually like
He
the
did,
at-bat.
yeah.
And as you said, I love the point you just made. It seems like quality offense, consistent at bats, is the best way to get through 162. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
You can have a Will Warren have a blow-up start. You can give up 3 or 4 in 4 innings, and you can still come away with the win. Why? Because you don't have to come up with high-leverage bullpen guys in a situation where your bats can get you back into the game, right? And more times than not, when you notice that the rotation's starting to slip, what also slipping simultaneously? The offense. They're not doing their job. You're losing games because the team is putting up 1 or 2 runs, and guys are like, I can't believe Max Fried gave up 3 today to Tampa. And it's like, well, guys, that's not that bad, but it ends up in a loss because the offense was sleepwalking. You can still win baseball games 7-5. That's okay on a day-to-day basis. You don't have to do it every day. But Jake, to your point, you need to find ways to get guys offensively more reliable in the lineup because we see them every single day. You don't need to put some guy in there who's like, well, he's a good defender and he can't really hit a lick. It's like, well, aren't you just putting more pressure? It's like the lineup is 9 guys. Essentially, you're making it from 9 to 8 to 7 to 6 guys. And Jake, we saw that in the postseason these past few years where it felt like our lineup, we were just waiting around for 2, 3, 4 to come up. And then after 5, 6, 7, 8, you're like, these aren't competitive at bats at all. So could not agree more. Lombard Jr., most important tool, offense, not the glove. Jason Dominguez, most important tool, offense, not the glove. Most important tool for Cody Bellinger, it's not the glove, even though he's our best defender. It's the fact that he's lefty-lefty splits, creates positive matchups for Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge hits both. That is the most important part of the game. Ninja Hot Dog with a 5 says series win for real this time. Also, adios Volpe. We already got this one. Ninja, thank you for the super. Really appreciate
you, Ninja.
The broccoli, as we like to call it. And we got a lemon from Go Yankees, 12-14 with the 10. I guess I don't have to read all the ads. It shouldn't be up there in the first place. But Go Yankees with the 10. Thank you. Says the Yankees played good fundamental offensive baseball and looked good. Spencer Jones needs to be called up ASAP. I actually don't agree about Spencer Jones being called up just because of where the roster is right now offensively. Jake, you've always talked about positional moves, right? Getting guys, getting their bat to the big league level. But a lot of times when you suggest that an outfielder, you just got to find a spot for him. That position more than likely is first base, right? Yeah, you can play left field. Maybe you're 6'4", 6'5". We can shift you over to first. Our first baseman is one of, if not the best first baseman in the game right now. It's Ben Rice. And yes, he dealt with an injury. He's day-to-day, so x-rays were negative. Good news there. But I don't see that there's a spot for Spencer Jones to play. If Jason Dominguez is here, Cody Bellinger's on the roster, and Aaron Judge is here, I don't necessarily know where it would be, but I guess you can argue while Giancarlo Stanton is injured that you can slot him over at DH, which I would have no problem with at all. And he said, if Spencer Jones is not going to be moved up to the show, then trade him for a great upgrade. Go Yanks. I don't have a problem, Jake, trading prospects, but I need to know who you're trading him for. I need a love who's coming in the room because I love Spencer Jones and what he does. I'm not as low on the strikeouts as much as other people, Jake, and I know you feel the same way.
Yeah.
It's not that big of an issue for a guy to have a clear hole in his game. That doesn't bother me as long as the strengths are worth it. I believe they're worth it with Spencer Jones. But if there's a player out there and you hear, Ketel Marte is available, and I'm not even really going to use Ketel Marte as an example, but whoever that player is, all of a sudden at the deadline, and that player gets to the market and it surprises us, and we say, oh my God, this Yankees team needs a big-time bullpen arm, and that random player out there that we all agree, oh my God, we need that guy. Now Spencer Jones can maybe be put up into a situation of a trade, but I don't want to call for anyone to be traded until I know who are we getting. Because, Jake, that guy better be special. And right now, there's no one special on the market. So I say Spencer Jones is kind of just out of luck right now, unless you want to DH him for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you know my thoughts. I would have called him up the moment I called up Jason Dominguez. I would have benched Trent Grisham. I would have had one of them in the outfield and one of them as DH.
Yeah, that's
That's
fair.
what I would have done, and I still
So what
would
would
do
you have
that.
done when Giancarlo came back at that point? Would you have just said, hey, it's
Um,
tough sledding? What now?
it's tough. I think I would still keep him, and the reason being is I just don't
Interesting.
see how AAA is doing Spencer Jones any justice.
That's fair. That's touchy too. That's a touchy situation because I promise you, even people who listen to our show every day, we all have different opinions. I would imagine there'd be a lot of people in this room, and I hear your take because you want the best players at the big league level. There's no question. But to wake up every day or every other day and Spencer Jones might hit 2 homers and you're like, there's the pop. And then all of a sudden it's Jason Dominguez, Belly, and Judge, and you're like, that's an awesome outfield. And Spencer Jones is just sitting down next to Coach. It seems so unfair, but it's the situation, right? We're in a weird spot with this roster. It's just weird.
Well, you saw what I sent you on Spencer Jones. I mean, look,
You texted to me.
yeah, Spencer
Yeah, that's
Jones'
right.
last 20 games, he has an over 1,000 OPS, 300 batting average, 383 on base, 686 slugging, 9.9 walk percentage, 27.2 K percentage. He had a 51.4 K percentage and an 8.1 walk percentage in his first 8 games. The problem was everyone just ran with that. Now, anywhere you go that doesn't like Spencer Jones, he strikes out half the time. Well, no, he actually doesn't. His last 23 games,
right there, right?
he strikes out a quarter of the time at 25.5%, 13.8% walk percentage in 23 games. So, what this tells me is this is who Spencer Jones is. I think the strikeout rate is way overblown. I've said this. And I think he's just literally repeating. He's about to literally repeat what he did when he first got called up, last year in AAA, when he was just absolutely raking. As hard as, he's ever
Babe
raked
Ruth.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Lou Gehrig in the minor
So we're
league.
about to see that, and then everybody's going to say the same thing. And they're going to say, well, what about the strikeout rate? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I do not care.
You don't have your audio
We do not care.
interface here. That's such a problem.
No.
Oh, you do?
I don't care.
We do not care.
We do not care.
Perfect.
I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of it. Spencer Jones absolutely is ready for the big leagues. If not now, when? And you could say, oh, well, there's people in the way when Stanton comes up. Okay, well, 40-man roster, not going to cost you an option. Call him up. Bench, I'm telling you, bench Grisham now. Put Dominguez out there. Go all in on Dominguez. His confidence is sky high right now. Build on that. And then call up Spencer Jones. And what you can do is you can just keep Dominguez in the DH spot. Have Spencer Jones play in center field. I'm so serious with this.
Who is an elite? He's an elite outfielder. That's one.
He's
of his strengths.
fantastic.
So before anything else, that's one thing we know he can do in the Bronx. He's going to bring the glove. It's a matter of what the adjustment looks like. He's not Aaron Judge. He's not the same person. We get this. He's not going to be arguably the greatest hitter of the generation. But one thing's for certain, Jake, when you talk about the strikeout rate, and this is going to be short and sweet, Aaron Judge's strikeout rate was horrible in the minor leagues. It wasn't good. And so it would lead you to believe that if a player has high strikeout rate, he just must suck. No. He has a hole in his swing, and he needs to make an adjustment. Or if a certain player with batted balls in play is just electric, the way Aaron Judge is, the strikeouts can still be relatively high, and you can get away with it. Aaron Judge has hit 330 in baseball seasons. That's his batting average with a high strikeout rate. He's managed to do that. And it's possible. Is it the ideal situation for a two-hitter or a guy you're looking to get a job done and pull a ball so that a guy can advance from second to third base, like play Toronto Blue Jays-esque baseball? Maybe not. Maybe you can make an argument that you don't love the fit of Spencer Jones in this lineup with a bunch of other sluggers trying to do like-minded things. That's all valid. But it is interesting because, Jake, you mentioned the overhanging point is that you don't really care about putting somebody in a cookie cutter situation at the big league level. If I call you up, it's because there's just an opening in the outfield that you can slot in perfectly. The Yankees have a situation right now where they have Jason Dominguez ready for the big leagues, Giancarlo Stanton injured, Trent Grisham playing mediocre baseball at best. And if you've got Spencer Jones raking, you can just bring him up here to start at DH with Jason Dominguez in the outfield, or Jason Dominguez DHing with Jones in the outfield. And then you say, okay, Giancarlo's back. Spencer Jones, you're just an option for me every day on the bench. And if I want to start you, I start you. It's still better than wasting your at-bats at the AAA level. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't.
He's got 29 home runs, by the way, in under 100 games in AAA. Like, I don't know how the Yankees aren't rushing to bring the. He fits exactly what their vision always is. And
we don't always love the vision, but this is the vision.
But here's the thing, Gary. Mm-hmm. Why do they like Trent Grisham? It's not his defense. They know it's not his defense. They try to defend it, but he is not a great defender. He's
league average defender. If it works out, which he's technically almost rebounded to league average, which I've already told you I would accept until there's a better option. But to your point, if things work with Trent Grisham, he hits 225, and this is perfect scenario. He hits 225, he strikes out a lot, right? He walks a lot, and he hits a lot of home runs.
So you don't think Spencer, I'm not saying you, but in general, so you really don't think Spencer Jones could do that exact thing and play an above average clip defensively? Like
that's what there are people who believe that because he's not the polar opposite of Trent Grisham, where contact's the first part of his game, like he needs to be Steven Kwan for people to be like, oh, this is a perfect swap. Like,
well, and what I love, Gary, this new thing that I've been getting on Twitter. Hey, aren't you the one that's always rambling on about contact and you want Spencer Jones? Yeah, aren't you the one that's always rambling on about like all of these expected stats and you don't want Spencer Jones?
Spencer Jones is just expected to do more of what Trent Grisham already does. So if you like more production, then Spencer Jones is waiting. So
I just don't know how you could look at like his 952 OPS in the minors and be like, he's not ready. It sounds ridiculous. Okay, like he's in AAA, he's still producing at a ridiculous level, but he's not ready. Are you going to wait until he's 33? Will he be ready then? Like, come on. It's ridiculous at this point. It really is. He's going to be 25, which, by the way, older than when Judge was called up. And everyone acted like Judge he had a walking stick or a cane or whatever when he was called up. They were like, oh, he's so old. He's going to... And do you remember the argument when he had 52 home runs his first big actual season? People were like, man, isn't that a shame he got called up so late? He's going to have no chance at winning the home run, breaking the home run record. Because he doesn't have enough time.
Record,
yeah. And so, well, Spencer Jones is going to have no chance. Because now he's going to be 25 May 14th. Okay? That's 10 days from now. Like, I understand it's like you can't have it all, and I get that. But I just don't know why, like, a guy is producing at that level, why I have to sound like I'm contrarian or having some wild take, and people act like it's so crazy, and they bring up the K rate, and it's like, the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, again, like I said, his first 8 games were atrocious. And also, it's not like this dude is doing the same thing every time. We've laughed about it. He's changed his batting stance 1 billion times. All this man wants to do is get better. That's what I love about Spencer Jones. You could see the work he's put in. And this is a former pitcher who had to have Tommy John surgery and basically said he was never going to pitch again. So he switched entirely to being a hitter. And he's not just your stereotypical, 6'7", 6'8" guy who has a lot of power and is going to be DH and is going to be Adam Dunn. No, he actually offers this crazy level of defense that you just wouldn't expect. He moves incredibly fluid for, that overall body composition, can steal bases. It doesn't make sense. He's actually a physical specimen. He's an alien, right? And yet people want to sit there who hits you with all their analytics, and they never bring up his defense. They only talk about his whiff rate. And it's insane to me.
I'm actually
Because,
surprised that the analytics crew
yeah,
cares so much about strikeout rate when actually the reason that the game has gone this direction, and mind you, it's not like analytics has been like, hey, we want guys to strike out.
I know which person, but yeah.
One person said the words K rate in the Yankees echo chamber will repeat it until eternity. Yeah, and
Big
Jake,
on Twitter doesn't have much of a platform outside of that.
Right. There's a lot of that going on.
Yep.
But the reality is that analytics, it's not like people are like, oh, we want guys to strike out. That's not it. They want power, all means necessary. Man on third base, less than 2 outs. A traditional way of thinking is I need to put the ball in play. I need to get the ball. If the infield's in and they're taking that situation to try and take that away from me, I need to keep the ball in the air, get the ball to the outfield. It's a free run. Today's baseball is we can still, given who's at the plate, you need to try to deposit 2 runs here, right? That we're looking for a big swing. And if you walk, the next hitter's looking for a big swing. It's not, hey, we need to avoid the double play and not ruin the inning. It's no longer that. Baseball's changed a little bit. And Spencer Jones really is the perfect mold of modern day baseball, whether we like it or not. That's what they're looking for. Great defense, can move around positionally, can hit for power. He can run. He can do all the things that modern day GMs are looking for. So I'm not losing any sleep over Spencer Jones, just me personally, just because things are working. The Yankees are winning baseball games. But ultimately, I want to see the best players on the roster, and Spencer Jones is one of those guys. And Finster, he says, this is a long conversation for something that doesn't matter. Stanton is coming back in a week or so, and J-Dom likely going back to the minors. Until they release Stanton and sit Grisham, they're blocked. Well, Jake, any comment on that?
Yeah, so I actually like this comment a lot because this is how I felt. And now I no longer feel this way. The Volpe thing really changes everything for me. It really does. Seeing Dominguez and Heel get sent to AAA.
Yeah.
I really don't be surprised. And I can't sit here and say, oh yeah, Spencer Jones is definitely getting called up. Because I'm not going to be that guy that's like, No. I'm not. But what I will say is that I think if Trent Grisham doesn't get together quickly, he's getting benched. I think if Ryan McMahon doesn't get that batting average up to 230, 240, he's getting traded at the deadline. And you're going to see Lombard Jr. slide right in there. They're not going to keep a $16 million player. They're not going to keep him on the bench. That's what they're not going to do. So you can say, oh, they got to play him. Maybe they feel that way, and that's why they'll trade him, right? So I think they're going to, this is my opinion. Take it or leave it. I don't care. But I think Ryan McMahon is getting traded at the deadline.
Okay.
I think, or even before that, I think before then, by the way, hate to break it to you, it's baseball, 162 games. Remember we saw the third baseman, Muncy, go down last year for the Dodgers?
Yes.
It just takes one team to lose to the third baseman. They'd be all over Ryan McMahon's defense. All over. So,
sure, we took him
there
away
will be a
from
market.
Colorado. Right.
There's going to be a market. And if he hits 220, as long as he hits above the Mendoza line, a team will come running after him. And the Yankees won't have to give up a ton. Like, you probably insert a top 20 prospect with Ryan McMahon, and then maybe it's like a prospect swap where you get somebody that's like lower tier on their side, and there you go. You call it a day, and you probably eat most of the money. It is what it is. But that's what they'll do. Lombard Jr. will probably be the third baseman for this year. It'll probably happen before the deadline, so we're talking about before August. I think he's going to be 21 soon, so I think it'll be after he turns 21. And then as far as Trent Grisham, I wouldn't be shocked if he, stayed on this roster, but I'm also leaning towards him getting traded. And I think this is how this team is going to operate. And before anybody says, well, aren't you worried about, if it's not broke, don't fix it? Aren't you worried about breaking the continuity of this team. They clearly had a vision when they ran it back. No, because they didn't have any worry about putting Jason Dominguez in there and seeing how it fit, and now it's fitting well. They didn't have any worry about taking Luis Heel out of the rotation, moving him down to AAA, calling up ERC, which is another thing that we just don't see the Yankees do ever,
No,
right?
not really. No.
They have not been worried about, doing a little bit of a remix to their roster and like what that could be. Like in the past, they would never do this. Now, I mean, even it started last year, Gary, when they weren't worried when they got rid of DJ LeMahieu. That was a clubhouse leader. They loved him, and they weren't worried about moving on from him, even when he was hitting.
Just started hitting. He just started hitting. He was hitting 260, and they're like, "Yeah, bon voyage." See you
so
later.
there you go. That's my take on that. Don't be surprised that Grisham and McMahon are gone. McMahon definitely feels like he's going to be gone, because I think you're going to be able to get maybe even kind of a steal level of value where a team is going to be so desperate they'll give you like their top 8 prospect. I'm not kidding you, because when you need somebody in a pinch like that is a proven glove, because not everybody shares the same belief I do in the offense over defense, there's going to be a team that's willing to do that. And I think the Yankees will jump at that because they'll know, hey, we have George Lombard Jr. And oh, by the way, we also have Rosario. So
yeah, they have somewhat of a surplus there. I have no take on Ryan McMahon just because he's still a good glove. You wouldn't known it today if you watched the game. But honestly, this is not going to be a popular take. I'm just here to tell you guys now, but it's how sports goes. I believe Trent Grisham should not be traded. Here's why. There's one thing I like about Trent Grisham. One thing. It's pinch hit opportunities against right-handed pitching. In a situation where someone's got nasty stuff, you're not looking for a guy to chase. You're looking for a ball to be put in the air, right man on third base, less than 2 outs, maybe clutch situation, 8th, 9th inning. Right-handed guy, and all of a sudden I see somebody come up there, maybe it's a Jazz Chisholm, and Jazz is not the best situational hitter. I'm just going to cut it to you guys straight. There might be a situation where the Yankees come up in the bottom of the 9th, and the Yankees say, hey, Jazz, come sit down next to coach. Yeah, Trent Grisham's going to take this at bat. And people might look at that and say, this is Trent Grisham. He's a career 215 hitter. This doesn't make any sense. He's a career 215 hitter because he's been identified as a starter. If you guys look at his stats against left-handed pitching, he is dismal. He's not good at all. And he still goes out there and takes those at-bats. He actually does something well. Jake, you called him the modern-day Raul Ibanez. I see a lot of that in Trent Grisham. Maybe you don't like the fact that could be his role that he actually succeeds in.
I would take him on the roster as a backup.
I will take him as a backup to come off the bench in clutch situations. I do that. Jay Spanton with the 2 says, just want Ben Rice's hand to be okay. Guys, physically speaking, it is okay, right? It's just a hand contusion. I have no idea how we're getting injured on pickoff throws to first base, but it happened. It's I don't know if I want to call it a freak injury or
it was a freak injury.
It is a wild thing to happen, but
you've worn a glove before. Somebody throws it really hard and it hits like a certain part of the glove, and your hand feels it.
Yes, but I've never had a hand contusion where I couldn't come back till 3 days later.
You would. I mean, I would give this guy my hand, but like as you can see, I mean, it's not. You see that bump right there or whatever? Yeah, it's not normal.
So Jake is day to day with a hand contusion. He was at Universal today. So
no, I've had this for a while now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I don't know how you're getting hurt with your hand as a podcaster, but Jay Span, thank you. We really appreciate the support. And Jersey Girl with the 5, welcome back in, who's got the Knicks logo. Love that. Even though I'm not a Knicks fan, I'm a Phoenix Suns fan, unfortunately. Thank you for the 5. Says, anyway, we can keep JD in the lineup when Big G comes back. Platoon with Grish. Also, Yanks on pace for 108 wins. You think they can pull it off? No, I don't think they're going to win 108 games at all. But
they could win 100.
They could win 100 games. Here's what doesn't make sense to me. Jake, what did just 45 seconds ago I say that Trent Grisham does well?
He pinch hits well.
Well, he also hits right-handed pitching, right?
Yeah.
What's Jason Dominguez's strength? Is it from the right side against lefty pitching, or is it from the left side against righty pitching? Would you say?
Well, it's the left side. Yeah.
The left side. So when people say like we should platoon both he and Grish, I don't think Trent Grisham's played good enough baseball to earn a platoon with a player that's better than him. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree
think Trent
completely.
Grisham is a bench player, so that's okay. Trent Grisham's a good bench player for a contender, but just in my eyes, he's not a starting center fielder for this team. So yeah, I like at least Jersey Girls being positive, right, with what Trent Grisham's doing, not completely throwing him away and acknowledging that he may have a role. I just don't think Jason Dominguez and Trent Grisham are on the same level, and I wanna make sense of that. If a player's on a different level, I don't want a platoon. Same way I didn't want Ben Rice and Paul Goldschmidt platooning at first base. I think this is the same situation, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I don't want a platoon either. I think Dominguez is clearly the better player, and I think if you gave him enough reps, he might even become a better defender. I don't think Grisham's a great defender. I've said this. So, I'm not saying I'd expect Jason Dominguez to be a better defender, but he also doesn't have to be, because he offers the speed on the base paths. He offers the run game, right? So
superior offensive talent. He
also, underrated thing about Jason Dominguez that's never talked about, he's got a freaking cannon. He's got one of the strongest arms on this team. Yeah. I don't even think it's close. Like, it's him and, like, Judge obviously has the strongest. Because bro barely even throws it, so he can throw somebody out at third.
His arm. It is crazy.
But yeah, Dominguez, I think he's got an 89th percentile arm.
And when you're covering as much ground, balls are going to the wall in left field. You never know when it'll come to the surface. We're in a postseason game, balls rip down the line. Guys, it's not just how accurate the throw to the cutoff man. It's also a little bit more arbitrarily, how hard can you get the ball into the infield, into the shortstop's hands to make a throw that you just saw the World Series. There was a play to second base where if the ball was thrown about a mile an hour slower, IKF touches home plate and the Blue Jays win the World Series. Every bit of these tools that the players have could have an impact. And yeah, Jake, to your point, the arm from Dominguez, I wouldn't have expected it to be very good, right? He's
not like a tall dude and doesn't have like the craziest wingspan, but the thing just jumps off his hand.
Right. Cody Bellinger 6'4", Judge 6'7". You feel like a lot of that is a factor. And for J-Dom, he's 5'8", 5'9", absolute cannon. Jersey Flow with the 2 says, who leaves in the bullpen when Cole and Rodon arrive? Are we talking about leaving our...
Yeah, I think they're talking about who leaves the rotation for the bullpen.
I imagine it's Ryan Weathers, as unfair as that may be.
Yeah, Ryan Weathers, and then eventually you'll see Clark Schmidt.
And I would like it to be Rodon to leave to the bullpen, actually, believe it or not. And that's not
I
a
would
knock.
too.
I just like the
no, it's not a knock.
System.
Well,
and I feel like what
people bring up last year as like you can't do that because he had a 3.12, 3.19 ERA.
Yeah, he was great in the regular season.
He was, but here's my problem. Okay, his season might be over, and what I mean by this is like his chance to be like the guy might have passed if this rev up process goes south. Sure. And how do you overcome that? And I'm not saying it happened, but I'm saying there's a possibility he comes back from this injury and it's not good. So would you rather just put him on the 60-day IL and just shut him down for the season just because he can't be in a rotation? Or would you rather see if you can get an inning out of him? See, like, I would rather the other side. So
underratedly valuable to have someone like Carlos Rodon being able to come out of the pen, because you could have easily, I feel like I've made this point 600 times, but I'm going to make it anyways.
Yeah.
When Washington went out there and had Patrick Corbin and they shifted him to the bullpen, do you know what the coverage was on Twitter? So any social media platform, Instagram, what it was on ESPN's ticker, MLB Network, you know what they said? Patrick Corbin relegated to the bullpen. That was the coverage. Yep. And what happened when they won the World Series? Oh my God, Patrick Corbin! He was a weapon for a couple of weeks and allowed them to win the World Series. He was a major key to that. He didn't get the gratification. It was just delayed gratification. And I feel the same way. Ryan Weathers moving to our bullpen, it's going to be delayed gratification. It's going to feel like a demotion. It's going to feel like you're the odd man out. But guess who's going to be the talk of the town in the Bronx if you're getting the last out, right? If you're getting the last out, you're giving us multi-inning from inning 6 to inning 8 in the Bronx when Yankee Stadium's rocking. Who do you think's going to get the credit? It's going to be you. So I don't say this that Rodon should go to the bullpen because I think he sucks. I don't believe that. I believe he was great last year, absent of the postseason. But yeah, I feel like Rodon's stuff, being more so a 2-pitch guy as opposed to Weathers, he seems like a much better option for a bullpen situation, maybe to replace either Luis Gil or not Luis Gil, Doval, who's not a strike thrower. Rodon is. I actually would not. I would kick the can on seeing if Rodon can fill those shoes.
I mean, I agree. And, then maybe you get another guy at the deadline. Maybe not. Maybe, like I said, maybe they'll look at this and be like, we have all the guys that we need. And I don't even know if they'd be wrong. Because think about this right now. Hedrick, he is locked in. He is in the circle of trust. Couldn't be any more obvious. Cruz is in the circle of trust. We saw that today, right?
That's right.
Tim Hill, Bednar. That's 4 guys right off the rip that you look at and you're like, okay, these are guaranteed bullpen arms. Okay.
What about Winquest?
No idea where he is. I assume St. Louis. I don't know. I don't know what they did with him, nor do I care. So you got those 4, right? Doval probably will be around he'll be in the mix because they feel invested into him.
He's a flyer.
But what about if you just said, screw it, we're going to go with Rodon and Clark Schmidt? That's 6 pitchers. You just have 2 more spots in the bullpen. And, I mean, at that point, you could go out and get a couple guys at the deadline. Or
you also argue Yvonne Cruz by the end of the year.
By the way, I wanted to bring that up because I really have liked a lot of what Boone has done, despite that one person saying that we hate on him all the time. But I texted you this. Gary Phillips does a great job covering the Yankees. Asked Aaron Boone about Yvonne Cruz this morning. He's been impressed, just as he was in spring training, but noted controlling the running game is something Cruz still needs to work on. Boone said the reliever's strike throwing has improved, though, and he's been... hold on. It got cut off. Pretty dominant. Okay, mind you, I think this is stupid, and here's why, okay? Again, I'm not trying to shit all over Boone. I think he's done a pretty good job lately. But the run game, that's overanalyzing. He has a .69 ERA. There are not a lot of guys on base with the way he pitches. So what is this run game we're talking about?
Yeah, how high
he's probably
his whip
had
be?
Yeah, he's probably had 1 or 2 base runners, and he caught one of those. And I don't want to act like Boone doesn't do homework, because clearly he does. He actually knows these prospects a lot more than I expected.
He does.
But did that not just feel like, when you heard that, did that not just feel like saying too much?
I felt like it was dumb, but here's my takeaway, and actually it was a positive for us as Yankees fans. For people who want Yvonne Cruz on the big league roster. And mind you, there's not a huge need right now.
.77 whip, by the way.
It was ridiculous. Less than a base runner an inning. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But having said this, when I saw Boone comment about his inability, at least from their judgment, he's not holding on runners strong enough for us to put in, really to take a flyer on him and put him at the big league level. Here's what that told me. They're talking about it.
That's a good point.
Technically speaking, if someone said, hey, what do you think about Yvonne Cruz? Because his ERA is practically 0 and nobody's getting on base. He's just been completely dominant. He was dominant in spring training. He's dominant in the minor leagues. What do you think about him? And the manager goes, oh, yeah, it's good to see him having success. Hopefully he's up here soon. That tells you that he doesn't watch that player at all. But the fact that he's talking about a minute detail of his game, like holding on runners, despite his ERA, despite his K rate, despite anything, that tells me that Yvonne Cruz may not get called up tomorrow, maybe not next week, I see him on this roster this year. I do.
I do
So
too.
when somebody tells you, hey man, you're great at everything, but there's this small detail I need you to work on first, that's them telling you they either care about you or actually see a future for you. This is good. So I don't know what got into the room, what's going on with Boone, what's going on with Cashman, what's going on with Hal Steinbrenner. I don't know who's in charge right now. But answers are starting to make a little bit more sense. Like I said yesterday, we're going to go through a rough patch. We just are. That's baseball. It's 162 games. I'm aware of it. You guys are aware of it. Jake's aware of it. Everybody here gets that. But looking at the mannerisms, the decision making, the no nonsense decisions of if you're not going to be the best player on the roster, you can go develop down in AAA. Totally anti-Yankees of the past 15 years. This is not normal. So that's what we're here to tell you in a long-winded show, is that the Yankees are doing things a little bit different than they normally would do it. And it has nothing to do with a hot start, which they seemingly always get off to. So yeah, I want to give credit where it's due. Not everything's perfect. I don't like watching Trent Grisham, just as you don't either, Jake. But all in all, it seems like if you like Cruz, we very well might see him. If you like George Lombard Jr. and he's 20 and you don't think we'll see him, based on what the reporters are saying, we might see him. If you like Jason Dominguez and he's setting it off in AAA and a player's not playing well or goes down, you're going to see Jason Dominguez. Things are making a little bit more sense in the Bronx. And I think based on our roster, we have a better roster than any team in the AL East. If we just make more sense than we have the last 6 to 7 years, we should win the division and be in the division series hosting. There's no other excuses to be made. So yeah, I say all that to say this. It's a good time to be a Yankees fan. And ultimately, Jake, I could not have agreed more with your take earlier about the fact that the Yankees shouldn't look at Aaron Judge like we can't do a damn thing without him. The reality is if the Braves can go win a World Series without Ronald Acuna Jr., teams win World Series, players don't. We want Aaron Judge on the team to go win a World Series, but just because he's getting older doesn't mean your chances just go out the window. You need to make sense of the moves you make. And I think right now they're not letting Volpe's situation scare them to calling up other prospects. And honestly, if you wiped away a lot of our prospects right now that are on the big league roster, we wouldn't be very good. So things are working right now.
Yeah. And I mean, think about this. If Yvonne Cruz is a part of this bullpen, and I just named 6 guys, you add a 7th, I mean, they really only need to get like one guy at the deadline. You know?
Yeah, and if they want to get more aggressive and don't want to call up some young players and they don't trust them right away, you don't trust maybe Cunningham or you don't trust Cruz, that's fine. Because those guys you can still, I mean, that's a small detail of the roster. You're talking about not a closer, an 8th inning guy. You're talking about guys who are going to be middle relievers, and that's okay. But if you want to go exercise getting middle relievers Tim Hill's role and you want to go trade for him, go ahead. We're not going to lose sleep over that. So it seems like if guys are performing, the Yankees actually have room to not be the most aggressive team in the room. So, and we all know Brian Cashman rarely ever is the most aggressive guy on the market. And so anyway, we've got Dre, who's a recent Yankees Unloaded Diamond level member. So Dre, welcome back in with the 5. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Says Rice is getting slapped by Fried's pickoff. Made me momentarily panic in the same way that Judge busting his toe in LA. He's that big for the team right now. And guys, we just can't be afraid because ultimately the reason we're as good as we are is because of our depth. That's why we're going to go where we're going to go. It's not necessarily because of Ben Rice. Ben Rice is, I'd say he's far and away our second best player on the roster. I'm not just going to hand over the keys to him. Aaron Judge is on the team. But right now he's our best player. And I understand being afraid of what happens when he goes down, but this is why Paul Goldschmidt's on the roster now. We've got a clear starter in Ben Rice. And if there's a situation where you're day-to-day, it's not a big injury, we all now know that, Paul Goldschmidt's a good enough baseball player that he can fill in for 3 or 4 days and we can still win 3 or 4, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely. And I'm kind of not excited to not have Ben Rice, but excited for Paul Goldschmidt if he does get that opportunity to make the most of it. I mean, they could mess around. I mean, they're not going to, but they could absolutely move like Bellinger to first and have, Grisham out there with Jason Dominguez and
unlikely,
start trying to get him.
No, it's unlikely. But more so unlikely because of the way we're playing. If the Yankees
Yes.
weren't winning and the Yankees are like, man, we're not scoring, we need another bat in there, I could see that happening. But considering we're winning and everything's working out, they're probably going to go the more conservative route. Just throw Goldschmidt over there. He's a Band-Aid. And in a worst case scenario, right, you can maybe JC, you're catching Austin Wells, you go over to first base. It's not ideal, but that's the emergency situation they find themselves in. So Dre, thank you for the super. And Guy, welcome back in with the two. Says gentleman's bet he will have a similar production right-handed. And he's talking, I believe, about Jason Dominguez.
I do agree. Right. We talked about before right when he was announced to come up, I actually found splits that back this up.
Really? Do you have those at all? Because I actually would be interested to see those.
Yeah, I mean, let's see here. We had Jason Dominguez had a better... It was, like, obviously he didn't face a ton of lefties or whatever, but...
Jake, you can also argue that we cannot physically get similar production if he's used as a platoon, the way that was suggested earlier.
Yeah, so as a right-handed bat, he was hitting .435 and in a 1200 OPS, and a left-hand bat, he was hitting .287 with a 794 OPS.
And how many at-bats for each?
So with hitting right-handed, he had 23 at-bats, and hitting left-hand, he had 87. So, I mean, obviously disparity, but that's interesting.
We need to see reps. That's it. You can't say someone can't do something if you're not willing to show them, right? We did the same thing with Ben Rice. Ben Rice goes out and says, hold on a second, I'm dynamic against right-handed pitching. We said, great. That's the most important thing, right? It's who you see more times than not. But against lefties, we see the Crochets, Sale, all those guys. Where was Ben Rice? He was sitting down next to coach because the Yankees, for whatever reason, decided his game's not ready to take on this responsibility. And thus, afterwards, everyone says, oh, he's a platoon. He can't take on the responsibility. And then, Jake, you and I went on our podcast, and a lot of our audience said, I want to see. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and we can retreat. But we want to see Ben Rice lefty on lefty at bats. And you've seen it all year in 2026. The reason people think Ben Rice is one of the best first basemen in the game, if not the best, is because of what he does against righties and lefties. Literally could not happen if Aaron Boone didn't let it happen. So if we're going to see production from Jason Dominguez against lefties, give him some damn at-bats against left-handed pitching. And if you can do that and he does what he did today, I mean, Trent Grisham, you can say sayonara to that starting job. I'm sorry. You're
no, I agree. One thing I want to point out about Jason Dominguez helicopter swing, I don't like it. And the reason why I don't like it, it's not just that it's, aesthetically displeasing, but I just worry because I feel like that's where the UCL tear came from. And I just wish they would have worked on that, because you're swinging the bat at, say, 77 to 80 miles an hour, and you're doing this. I mean, that's a lot of torque on your arm. And I do have, I know it sounds kind of funny to people, but I do have genuine concerns about that follow through. And what
who else did that? Fernando Tatis Jr., to your point. Fernando Tatis Jr. dealt with a shoulder injury, and he actually worked with his hitting coach, and they worked on it all winter with his follow through. Is that he's actually not going to let go of the bat. He's typically a one-handed guy. Now it's two-handed. Now you can argue that his power, he's actually, I don't know if you knew this, statistically hitting the ball harder than any other big leaguer. He's hitting, his exit velocity is better than anybody else. He doesn't have a single home run on the year. Now, they've made a big conversation about this. He's talked about whether or not maybe the follow-through is having an impact, and he said, I don't know. I don't have those answers. But the point here is that Fernando Tatis Jr. dealt with a major injury, right? Dominguez also with the Tommy John. Major injury. You would like to see a physical adjustment to try and accommodate and protect yourself, right? But just because we're not getting a change in swing, it doesn't mean something bad's going to happen. We're just going to have to hope for the best. But yeah, to your point, I would imagine when you get Tommy John on your elbow and then doing this with a baseball bat that is not light in your hands, that it's not the most ideal thing. So it's just one of those situations where you're going to have to watch him swing and just pray nothing happens.
Yeah, it's well,
It's not what you want.
I was just gonna say that.
that's all I can say.
I was literally just gonna say that. And we're on our final two super chats, and then we'll get to our prize picks selections. Because Jake, I did tell you we've got 11 games. I believe May 11th is our next day off. It's somewhere around there. So if you guys are sick of us,
Speaking of numbers, we're doing numbers tonight. So I don't know if it's the new thumbnail that I put up or it's just Anthony Volpe, the news.
I think they wanted to see you doing the pod from your twin size bed, because I love when you're giving us like the arm and the whole room is just shaking.
I know, it's ridiculous.
It's awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean it works out perfectly. I personally, I don't feel like this backdrop's like it's not terrible, right?
It's simple,
and the wood grain makes it better. Like if it's just like straight, like like a white, or not even like a white, but like one of those like ugly colored walls. It's just I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying. Like the beige. Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't work on camera at all. And there are people that do that for their job.
Yeah, so there's podcasts that run where they run Blue Yeti mics and yet they're paid to do the show.
It's crazy.
It is.
Yeah, but I just wanted to give everybody some credit. I didn't say shout out. I know you were waiting for that. And the reason being is because we are at over 500 concurrent viewers right now. And we are close to 2,000 views on this episode. And this has been one of the biggest, I think, episodes live that we've seen this year. So I really want to know. And I think I'm going to run a poll as to why. What made people click on the video? The title? The thumbnail? Me being on vacation, like Gary said? Or what's the other one? Gotta have a fourth. I'm going to run the poll right now.
Oh, you're serious? You're actually running the poll?
Oh, I want to find out.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so guys in our comments, he's obviously a member here. He says hit the like button. Could not agree more, guys. Friendly reminder: make sure if you're new here, get involved first and foremost in the live chat. It is free to do that. All you have to do is subscribe, and you can be a part of the community. We don't care if you're right off the rip or you figure it out right at the last second. This is a baseball conversation. We're not trying to. This isn't Twitter, where it's like, hey, remember this that you said 2 years ago? You were totally wrong on that. We love being wrong, because a lot of times when we're wrong on this show, it means the Yankees are winning. That's good. So, yeah.
There we go. There's the poll.
My mom's.
It is up.
Where is the poll?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube. That's why.
Other is currently winning, and it doesn't. I shouldn't have put other. That was stupid. I'm an idiot. It is what it is.
Yeah,
no, it's
putting
definitely...
other was bad, but then we can ask people and go further with it. What is other? We don't know. HS is probably like, when's my super chat being read? HS, I'll read it right now. Thank you for the 5. Says Jazz
Anthony Volpe news, 59%.
Right, but this is also why some people will be like, oh, well, it forces people to like, the clickbait titles, and it's like, well, I agree, but
new thumbnail, by the way.
Not one person?
No.
Not one person was like, the thumbnail looked nice. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's tough.
See Jake on vacation is at 12%, though.
Yeah, and I feel like that's also, sarcastic, so.
Yeah.
Which I totally get. But okay. This is why people are like, yeah, it could be clickbaity, and then you click the show and it's 16 minutes long and people are just trying to milk and get subscribers off to a good 10-minute show. But reality is, I feel like it can't be considered clickbait if you give somebody a 2-hour show that is technically free to watch. Obviously, you have to watch a bunch of annoying ads, but nothing YouTube Premium can't stop. And for those of you who have that, best investment you'll ever make. YouTube Premium is one of the best things you'll ever do. But yeah, Anthony Volpe clearly is the main topic. Anytime we talk Volpe, if Grisham's going to lose his job, if we talk about Boone or Hal Steinbrenner, people are going to want to see it because they want to see if the way they feel, if maybe some other show hosts feel the same way. And not just to be like, this all sucks. You got to have something. There should be something to your take, not just everything sucks and like this video and subscribe to the video. So that's not really content.
Much love from Cheeks over there.
Welcome back in, Cheeks.
We appreciate you.
And HS, so I want to get to your super. Thank you for the 5. Says Jazz is starting to hit. I'll get to the end of it here. So the last 12 games since the start of the Boston series, we made an adjustment in the box. Closed up his stance. He's hitting 290 since the beginning of that series with 3 homers and 9 ribbies. Yes, and I think this also goes back short and sweet here, Jake. I made the prediction that Jazz is too talented of a baseball player. He's going to get to the end of the season. He's going to hit 240 plus, probably 245. He's going to hit 20 plus home runs because he has that type of natural power. I'd welcome in the membership. Yep. I saw that right here. So I told you guys Jazz is going to get it figured out. He just is. And you're going to have to ask yourself, do you like Jazz anyway after the season ends strong? You're going to have to ask, do I want more of that? Where it's streaky and then he turns it on and then it's somewhat of a distraction, but he's still a good teammate. If you want that, then you want it. But ultimately, I never was concerned about Jazz. I never thought they were just going to get rid of Jazz. But you can absolutely make the argument if someone throws a bag at Jazz Chisholm, the Yankees might say we've got enough in the system, which Lombard Jr., right? Well, what we got with Caballero, maybe Volpe figures it out in AAA. They're comfortable throwing him at second base. You never know what happens with Jazz. So, yeah, Jake, are you excited on what's happening with Jazz? Because
yes,
like he's kind of hiding in the bottom of the lineup. I'm fine with it. But, yeah, has he been noticeable to you?
Yeah, it's he's like kind of the glue guy when he's working. Like, he's the glue guy. He keeps it together at the bottom of the lineup, in the middle, you know?
You said that a couple days ago, too. You said when Jazz starts hitting, the lineup's going to look a lot better.
Yeah, it's like, because, I mean, now all of a sudden they look like big names. Like, Jazz Chisholm's your 6th hitter or your 7th hitter. That's a great lineup.
It is.
So,
it is. And that's been our biggest problem with this team. It's actually been the lineup. People say it's the bullpen. Oh, my God. Who's starting game 2 of the division series? It's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's Rodon. The biggest problem with this team is scoring. It is. Every postseason, it's our offense. And some people will say, well, we didn't pitch worth a lick. That's true. But more times than not, when we go in October, we pitch well. We don't hit. That's why we went home in 2020. That's why we ended up getting into big games. And the Giancarlo Stanton and the Gleyber Torres were carrying the offense, and Aaron Judge was doing nothing, right? A lot of the others of the roster were literal duds. Gary Sanchez was nowhere to be found in some of these postseason games. I know it's a blast from the past, but it's the truth. And you guys obviously watch all the same stuff I watch. And Brendan, who's a member of ours, says he's a Yankees unloaded veteran. Guys, we really appreciate not just the live viewers. I know that a lot of our shows are really late right now, but you guys have been incredible. Over 500 people in here. We're in the middle of the night. And a lot of you watch after, right? In the next morning of our episodes. We appreciate you guys as well. Obviously dropping a ton of comments and letting us know that you really can't catch the lives. We're going to go back to an earlier schedule the soonest day we can. Jake's living it up in Florida right now. Spending time with his family. Yeah, we have no problem with it. But as you can see from his were you at the Ritz-Carlton?
No, I'm at some nice Airbnb resort.
Don't actually tell anyone where. I was gonna say don't ever tell anyone where you're at because people are weird on the internet.
Yeah, no, we have 525 people watching right now. There's no chance I'm doing that.
Not all of them can be normal. You know that.
Yes, I've learned. You and I both have already faced this, so yes.
Very, very strange. Some people are. And Hyde, who I'm gonna get you right back up on the screen here in a second. With the 5, says watching from the start because I fell asleep, LOL. But this really does seem like they're redoing last year. But what if we actually went all out? So that really isn't doing the same thing, which, Jake, is pretty much what you said earlier, is that you run back the roster as far as the construction goes. But everyone is sitting in their positions, no longer in comfort. No longer are the days where Anthony Volpe could be an absolute zero for the Yankees for months on end, where Yankees Unloaded and Talking Yanks and all these different podcasts are complaining and saying, when's it going to improve? And they rightfully said, who's going to replace him, right? Michael Kay said that. You need to have a replacement. Everyone's like, bring George Lombard Jr. up. It's that bad. It wasn't realistic. Now we have a replacement. And so if Volpe knows if you're not good enough, he's going to take your job. If Ryan McMahon, you're not good enough, George Lombard Jr. will take your job. If you're not good enough in Trent Grisham, you're making $22 million. Yeah, that guy over there, Jason Dominguez, he's raking in AAA. He'll take your job. Now you might have the same roster, but now with an all-out mentality. Maybe instead of winning 94 games, we win division. And Jake, all I want at this point, get me back to the World Series.
Absolutely.
Let's start there.
Give us a chance to shatter records covering a World Series again.
Yeah, you remember we got eliminated and we were like, oh, that sucked. Let's go live. Let's get this over with. There were 2,000 people in there. Our chat, I couldn't even read it.
Insane. I think it hit 3,000, but yeah.
Couldn't even read the damn thing. But Hyde, welcome in to a Yankees Unloaded membership. Welcome in. And you said this was field level, correct?
Yes, this is field level.
Awesome.
It's so funny.
Everyone's saying Jake is getting doxxed. Someone needs what do they call it again when they send the SWAT team? They say swatted, where all of a sudden you're live on the air and all of a sudden you see the SWAT team come in and drop me down to the ground. You should be sent to a penitentiary if you ever do that to somebody. It's insane that's allowed.
If you do that to somebody, you should be cased in carbonite.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like, literally, you should be frozen solid and put into a freezer.
Yeah.
Like a block of ice.
What did Izzy say here? Said, Jake, I love you, but I can't wait until you get back home to your setup because I can hear you breathing in my AirPods and it's wild. Yeah, it's like an EKG.
I feel bad. So here's why. I'm an asthmatic. I don't know if everybody knows that. So I just breathe heavy all the time. So like that I don't notice that, but yeah, that's
well, you notice now. Imagine someone's like, "Hey man, you're breathing loud." Well, all you can think about now is your breath. So why don't you think about that?
You know what's so funny? I remember there was this girl, I forget her name, in 8th grade. She told me to stop breathing because I was breathing so loud. Because like I just had an asthma attack.
She told you to stop breathing?
Yeah, she's just like, Jake, stop breathing. And I actually remember who it was. Her name was Livy. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah.
Shout out to Libby. The
one that
I'm sure she's twice divorced at this time. If you can't deal with someone breathing, you can't be married. I'm sorry. If you can't deal with that, you can't deal with anything. And apparently, Jake, a lot of people have asthma in the room.
Oh, asthma unloaded.
Yeah. Wait, who put that?
It's the guy who brought up the breathing, and it was like, yo, albuterol gang gang.
Asthma unloaded is great.
Oh yeah,
so Jake, so you went to school with Livy Dunn?
No, it was not Livy Dunn.
It was not Livy Dunn.
I think her name was
Livia.
It was Livia. Not Libya. Not Libya. No, Libya.
I was going to say, like Libya, the vacation spot.
It was all of Libya that wanted me to stop breathing. No.
Yeah. My mom and I actually, my wife and I actually, we want to go on vacation to Libya this off season.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
No, I'm absolutely joking. Of course,
I wasn't sure if you were or weren't, and I wasn't trying to offend you.
I don't travel anywhere, dude. I won't even go to Mexico. My whole family's like, dude, we gotta go to Cancun. We gotta do Cabo and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, the cartel went crazy the same weekend that we were supposed to go, which
albuterol unloaded.
Yeah.
Gary, you don't have asthma, right?
No, yeah, so crippling anxiety that needed medication.
Well, I have both.
Yeah.
Dude, all right, real quick. I was
good thing we're podcasters. Can you imagine if we were like firefighters? We'd be useless.
Being at Universal, we went on the Gringotts ride, the Harry Potter ride. And all I'm thinking, this is the first ride I'm going on since I had the heart palpitations last year.
Yes.
And I'm like, what if I can't do it? And everything is good. I can never go on the Transformers ride at Universal because like they flip you a million different ways and it's like a simulator. Nope.
Right.
Immediate. Like I have never been the same. Motion sickness for days times a billion after that. Like I
So
never.
you're not going on what's supposed to be
the
the most
Transformers
intense ride. No, it's supposed to be the most intense ride in the world. What is it? Is it? It's not Jurassic Park. It's something to do with.
Oh, it's at Universal.
Velociraptor. Yeah, I believe so. I think it's
Dude,
the Velocicoaster.
I love. It's the best coaster I've ever been on.
Yeah, no. People say it's the best roller coaster in the world.
It's so smooth.
It's supposed to be ridiculously intense, though.
Yeah, no, I love it. Oh, I haven't been on it since, but we'll make it work.
Okay.
Because it's so smooth. I think I'll be good. No, I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm going to the Nintendo the Epic Universe. So that'll be cool.
That'll play.
So
what was, by the way, what did someone say? Asthma unloaded. Yeah, that's going to be the comment for sure.
Yes,
It just
definitely.
is.
Lungs
it's gonna be the
unloaded from real cheeks. Oh my god.
It's ridiculous. Jake, do we want to get to our picks? Because I'm sure we need to make some picks. Or is there something else you wanted to talk about with this game? Because obviously everyone hit, right? I mean, even obviously we talked about Ben Rice. Day to day shouldn't be an issue. We get Goldschmidt. Jason Dominguez just simply should play. He's a better baseball player than Grisham. You don't have to think Trent Grisham sucks.
There's always someone that takes it, like, ruins the whole... We love being, like, sarcastic and making fun of each other. Then the CM dude's like, I can't do the kids' Transformers ride. My motion sickness is too much. Also, Jake, Volpe can't hit. This dude sucks. So, where was the lie?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
What did oh my god.
Did you say Volpe could hit during the show? Because I missed it.
No, he said Volpe. I said Volpe can't hit. This dude sucks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you're making a joke. I thought you were hating. Yeah, that was not a good joke. I actually thought you were a troll. My bad, CM. My bad.
Like, boo this man.
I've been
anyway.
Yeah, I've been unhinged lately.
No. Let's get to our prize picks. I told you guys that this is so random. I told you guys that Austin Wells was going to leave the yard today. I said that out of hunch for no reason whatsoever, and I told you guys not to tail that.
It sounds like you're doing an apology video right now.
No, I'm just trying to do an accountability video where I told you guys when we made the pick, and that was me who made it, I told you, don't tail this. And if you do, it's on you and your responsibility, and you need to spend responsibly. Which
you know what that just reminded me of? Have you ever seen the Will It Blend videos?
Yes, like where they blend iPhones?
Yeah. And he's like, will it blend? That's the question. And he's like, iPhones smoke. Don't breathe this. That's what he just made me think of that guy. Like he just they would put everything in that freaking Blend Tech blender.
Well, those when you make as much money as some of these creators make, you can blend an iPhone.
No, it was the older guy with the lab coat. You ever saw that? Will It Blend?
No, not him.
Oh my god. I need to know if, before we get on with this, I need to know if somebody saw Will It Blend. The Blend Tech videos. Drop it in the comments section. We'll get to it after. But shout out to Prize Picks, of course, for sponsoring us. We are going to be doing another slip here. We lost today. Why did we lose today? Well, we lost because Cody Bellinger failed us.
What did we have? 1.5 hits, runs, and ribbies?
Yeah,
That's a
so
bummer. We were just all over it today.
I know it's such a bummer.
Oh,
Max
so we didn't
Fried,
take
even with
Austin
the
Wells. Thank
strikeouts,
goodness. What am I
we knew
apologizing for?
Jason Dominguez, Cade Cunningham. That the Cade Cunningham one was easy, but yeah, like sorry, a series clinching game, and he's not gonna have more than 24 points. Anyway, let's get into baseball. We got Yankees, Orioles, shocker. We're not doing conjoined twins ever again, so that's not happening. All right.
Let's pick one. Let's start it off with a non-goblin.
I'm going to tell you right now. Aaron Judge is a terrible matchup for Shane Baz. He is going nuclear tomorrow.
Oh, is he like actually? Because what are his career numbers against Shane Baz? Because I'm actually.
Well, I'm going to look him up right now, but I remember they are not.
It's not ideal.
It's not what you want if you're Shane Baz. Why is it not as simple as just looking it up? I don't understand. I don't know.
Like, Jake, I need you to hack this computer.
It's unreal. Oh, you can hear it that loud?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, well.
Who said they could hear your breathing with the AirPods? If they can hear the breathing, you wait till you hear the... And mind you, the audio's pretty solid. Not a problem.
Yeah,
Definitely better than the audio I was having. Like, remember when I was in... when I was doing the show for my AirPods, it sounded like I was on the moon. No, you sound pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're Rode Wireless Pros, so there's that.
You'd hope so.
Yeah, you would hope so. Why can't I... Shane Baz versus Yankees hitters. Like, where...
Can anybody in the live chat pull this up?
I can't believe I can't find this. What is happening?
Is malfunctioning right now. But anywho.
I found it.
You found it.
I found it. Yep. It wasn't loading, honestly. Okay, here we go. Aaron Judge has 2 home runs in 10 at-bats against Shane Baz. 400 batting average, 1,500 OPS. I knew I wasn't psycho. So, let's go dangerous here. Give me...
Izzy said you sound like you're on a respirator. Sounds like they're describing Bane from Batman.
Oh, sick. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're going with. Who else is really good against Baz? Austin Wells is 3 for 4 against Baz. He's gonna do something tomorrow. There we go.
This wasn't me.
We are going with...
Should be a millionaire by tomorrow if we hit on this Austin Wells pick. Are you kidding me?
Cody Bellinger's 2 for 2.
How about Jason Dominguez continuing the momentum? How about that? No gobbling on his name. Give me J-Dom for life. Ooh.
That kind of stabilizes that, and then we just need one more. And we're not going to pick an opponent because that's not fun.
Yeah, Izzy, I was born in the dark.
Let's see. We got... Let's do... Let me do Wemby. Oh my god, no.
Wait. We're like Austin Wells, Aaron Judge, Victor Wembanyama. most random slip anyone's ever seen.
I mean, let's just do baseball, but let's do a different. Let's do... Oh, Schlittler's on the mound tomorrow, too.
Yeah, I want Cam being a part of this.
Yeah,
He
I do,
should be
too.
there. I mean,
Bellinger kind of wronged us today, so let's take Bellinger out. And we're not going to do conjoined twins, so let's do...
Oh, hold on a second here.
This is genius.
Do you see what I'm seeing?
Yes.
So I'm picking individual hitters to strike out. Give me Gunnar Henderson striking out twice tomorrow. Give it to me. Yep. Oh,
10 to win 140.
Yeah, we're going in. Give me one more.
Do you want to do flex play?
No. Hell no.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Power play. It's hockey season, baby.
Oh, we have another one. Okay, I see what you're saying. We got... No.
Can you go back? I think this is some pretty good information from HS. It says Jazz is 5 for 7 with a homer versus Baz. Let's get...
Okay.
That's my last selection. Let's go back and make a selection. And again, guys, if you sign up with Prize Picks using code HMA, you play $5, you get 50 instantly in lineups in return.
That's 200, by the way, if you hit that.
Oh.
10 to win 200. So this is our lineup. There you go.
This is a banger. Text this to me as soon as the show's over because this is absolutely hitting.
We'll see. I feel good about it.
So, yeah, but anywho, thank you for our sponsor in Prize Picks. If I'm telling you guys to tail this one I like. I actually, and did you keep Austin Wells on it? Is that what we did?
Yeah, we just took Cody Bellinger off, so he's just gonna have 8 home runs tomorrow.
Yeah, because we took him. I personally removed him from our slip the day he went 4 for 4. I don't know if you remember that. So, as you can see, that's unfortunately what happened. But
that is unfortunate. By the way,
was there anything else we wanted to touch on for
I figured it out.
Game today? What did you figure out?
The mic volume was 200.
So that's why everybody felt like they were just in your nostril the whole show?
I mean, you could still probably hear it, but it's probably not as loud.
Yeah, I didn't hear it, but they heard it. No, I mean, 517 people won't lie to you all at once. There's liars out there, but not simultaneously.
No. Next thumbnail.
I love that.
Jake in an iron lung machine. Alex, I can't. Oh my god. So did anybody ever see ASMR loaded? Jake sounds like he's on a respirator. Oh my god, dude. What the hell? Jake going
Jake's on vacation
Mr.
getting
Robot
bullied
mode with a keyboard. What the hell?
Was there anything else that we didn't touch on? Guys, in the audience, in our live chat, anywhere, is there anything else you guys wanted us to touch on? We touched Dominguez. We touched on Ben Rice and the injury. Good news there, right? We touched on the bullpen. We touched on Volpe and Caballero, what he's doing. We touched on the defense from Ryan McMahon. It looked really bad.
We're done. You ended on
Mike
that.
Mike Fulton was higher average than Trenton Grisham.
That is amazing.
It's awesome. So, guys, over 500 people here, 2 hours into the show. Really appreciative of our live audience, all the supers, and helping support the channel. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And, of course, some of our new memberships getting involved. I keep making the promise that we're going to get you guys emojis. I've got to get it figured out. Again, I made them, Jake, and then they're like, yep, they're way too big. Way too big, not going to work.
Yeah, you got to use the size shrinker. I don't know.
Watching you try to tell me this, everybody in the entire audience knows exactly what you're trying to say, and we're all watching you not be able to say it. So at least...
You should have seen me the other day. I went to Walgreens. I couldn't believe there was actual like Pokemon like in stock.
Yes.
And I couldn't get words out. It was behind the counter, and I was like, "Oh, you have Pokemon?"
Oh my god. Well, it probably feels pretty normal to them. because the majority of people that are into Pokemon don't really talk to a whole bunch of people. So they're probably used to it. They're like, oh, Pokemon. I mean, dude, have you ever been to TwitchCon?
I don't.
It looks like, you ever been to GameStop and you go into GameStop? It's like the most uncool people you've ever seen in your whole life. It's a hub of people with no friends. And mind you, I love video games myself. Like my mom knows, like my mom used to come with me to midnight releases. No cool person ever has been at those midnight releases. Never. So that is who's going out and playing Pokemon, but Pokemon's fun too. So yeah.
I've been playing
nerds
Pokemon
can't
Go
talk.
on vacation. I don't even care.
This is it's just getting more sad by the minute.
I
And
don't
my mom
care.
says, she says the meetup announcement for new folks, hit the like button. So again, guys, make sure you guys hit the like button and you hype the video below. If you're on an iPhone, I believe that's the only way you can hype videos. But anywho, want to make sure you guys know September 8th at Yankee Stadium, we're doing a meetup, a Yankees Unloaded meetup, where we want to get a chance to meet you guys. Instead of just being here on the screen where we talk baseball, we want to talk baseball face to face with every single one of you. All you have to do is buy a ticket to get in the stadium. You don't have to buy a ticket in our section, none of it. We're going to let you know where we're sitting during the game, closer to the actual game, September 8th. And all you have to do is make a reservation with Open Table to get into Audi Club. And Audi Club is free to get in. You don't have to pay to get any of the drinks, any of the food. That's all up to you of what you guys want to do. So anything you guys are charged is up to how much you guys are willing to spend. But we want to meet you. That is September 8th, to be perfectly clear. We want to see every single one of you. And Jake, we finally eclipsed the 2-hour mark. Actually, for whatever reason, I wanted to do that.
I could tell you were stalling.
I was stalling. Yeah, I was definitely stalling. But Jake, anything else you wanted to touch on?
Stalling.
Oh my God. No comment.
I mean, hey, we've had our moments on this show.
Oh yeah, we're leaving this. I want to put Izzy up on the screen. Thank you for reminding us. When we leave, reload into the screen and drop the comment "Asthma Unloaded" into the comment section, not in the live chat, in the real comments in the video after it loads.
Oh man,
my mom says send Jake to the funny farm. Yeah,
there's so many of these.
There's a lot. That is the most ridiculous picture. Are you joking me? Look at this. Look at this photo. Are we for real? What are we doing?
Oh man. And then anxiety unloaded, because I'm sure that'll come into play at some point.
It's ridiculous. But anyways, Real Cheeks, welcome back in. Always great to see you. Guys, drop. What was the comment again?
Asthma
Unloaded. Yeah, drop Asthma Unloaded in the comment section. Subscribe to Yankees Unloaded if you're not part of the community yet. We want you to come back here and be with us again during normal times. Jake's camera's just backed off tenfold. We're not sure why.
What the?
Yeah, your whole camera was just like, it lost its mind.
You know what? I'm not allowed to do any hand signals, because then like this AI thing is like, oh, well, that must be a sign. Yeah. And I'm just like, no, it's not. Yeah. Anyway.
Subscribe. Like the video. Knew it was coming.